And in my history of thinking I know how to practice things, usually it's just the practice and practice and practice and practice, beat your head against a wall until you kind of get it right kind of deal. And I feel like that's ruined many a practice session. I feel like interleaving is the way to go, but I'm also thinking about practically when you're like hyper budgeted for time. I just wonder how you balance doing something like that versus like, okay, I know what my workload is, I have to get through it all.
What comes to mind for me is, did you design your workload appropriately? Is this a rabbit trail or is this truly a high priority? So if it's nagging at you, you got to follow that passion. There's a really great book called Why Greatness Cannot Be Planned that talks about how objective, the culture of objectives is actually insufficient for creating true, authentic greatness. And that instead we need to balance having objectives with following whatever is most interesting to us in any given moment. What I would say is that you just got another tool, Jack. You got another practice tool of contrast, right? The contrast principle between how you don't want it to go and how you do want it to go. Now, what we want, it's like you've got a tool belt full of tools. Play it the way that I want 10 times in a row. Contrast between how I don't want it. Progress it by making it say a little faster, a little louder, a little sweeter, a little whatever. When you're practicing and you're planning your workload and you've got 30 minutes, you most likely you have things that you're wanting to maintain. You have things that you want to progress. You have things that you want to review, right? Review, maintain, kind of that slot. And you might have time for exploration. So there's a balance between those factors. And depending on what it is, if it's review, you really only need like 2 or 3 minutes. If it's progress, you probably need about 6 or 7 minutes. If it's exploration, maybe 6 to 10 minutes. Or if it's something like TCE or like super loud, low, long tones that just physiologically takes a certain amount of time to kind of like open up and actually happen. Generally, what I'd recommend is that you record yourself playing the relevant section that you want to make progress in. You listen back and you choose, you like write a list of all the things that you want to improve, you prioritize it, and then you make that highest priority change. At that point, that's when the tools come out of the toolbox for making the highest priority change. And you're like, okay, cool, I'm gonna do it the way that I don't want it because there's something I need to learn from this.